It's the book of 2 Corinthians. 2 Corinthians chapter 2, point is verse 11, and it reads, Least Satan should get an advantage of us, for we are not ignorant of his devices. I'm going to start off by giving all praise, all honor, and all glory to call Elohim Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Kodash Rakatham. I say double honors to my apostles, the elders of the great millstone, who teach and do rule well. Peace and salutations to the Akim across the four corners of the earth, pushing this truth with faith and with sincerity, as well as risking their lives and the freedom to do so, now more so than ever. Shalom to the Akim and the Akwat out there listening and learning. Lord, willingly this is edifying. Shalom to the Israelite foreigners scattered abroad and in the land of other nations appearing like the other nations, but whom subscribe to this truth. To you I say shalom. It's your brother Yahweh Sop out of the GMS Cleveland Church, a fellow servant, coming at you with another lesson through the Spirit, through the power of Yahweh Shem Yahushua. This lesson is in regards to an article I came across on my Newsbreak app. This guy Boosie Boo, Boosie Badass, it's funny because the Lord be using him in certain, the Lord uses everybody. Scriptures tell you that all things obey his will in the book of Sirach, chapter 18. But, I remember it's because a particular brother in the camp, Boosie has made some blasphemous statements because of, being emotional. And not really truly understanding, Yahweh Shem Yahushua, because I believe he subscribes to the scriptures, but he doesn't know anything about Yahweh Shem Yahushua, so he doesn't understand, or he doesn't have the true knowledge of the scriptures. And that's terrifying because, he has a position in society, and like the article's going to read, he's always speaking about something, putting his 2 cents in. And, you got, these Edomites, and, you got people sitting up here, talking about how things are good and, it's going to be a soft landing and whatnot. But you got an individual that actually is not, he's not poor, he's not necessarily invested in Babylon the Great like, the rest of you, sheeple. I mean, he's a sheep as well, but what I'm saying is he has a different outlook. And, he said it himself. He says, Boosie's Badass says this is the brokest he's ever seen in America. And, that's a fact, because, we see it. I watch economists that say they see it, but, a lot of the celebrities, a lot of the entertainers, a lot of the wealthy, they don't really speak on it. So for him to speak on it, I just took it through the Spirit. And that's why I said what I said, or read the scripture about least Satan should get an advantage of us, for we are not ignorant of the devices. Because ultimately the Lord, put it on this devil's spirit to, pretty much create a system where this fiat currency, the money would fail, in order to bring about, where you're reliant on this devil. It's not coincidence why they want to bring out UBI, universal basic income. And, that was kind of like, what's the word? It was kind of like, with the stimulus checks, that was kind of like simulation of it to a degree. But, and this is going to affect everybody too, not just the poor, but the wealthy. The wealthy, because it tells you in the scriptures that all small and great, rich and poor, free of bond. Revelation chapter 13. All going to be basically have to deal with that hour of temptation, because it's going to be a reset of the system. But I was just thinking before I, continue further. He has a fucked up lot. The Lord can do whatever he wants, but again, this individual, he can notice that much. Boosie Boo can notice that much. He's aware of that much, but he's not aware of, the money that he possesses is not really his money, or, that this system is going to fail, or, I'm sure he doesn't believe in Yahweh Shem Yahushua. Again, I know he subscribes to the scriptures to a degree, but, a nigga, they'll say they believe in the scriptures, but won't believe every word. I remember him making a statement about how the Lord, that's how I believe somebody approached him about the truth, because I remember that's a spirit that just jumped on me too, called Elohim Yahweh Shem Yahushua, because a lot of these celebrities, like they all day, they might be on TikTok or Instagram, or like they might be on the Instagram feed all day. And he was making a statement about, he was like, yeah, that's fucked up. He was like, God gonna punish me just for eating pork, but pork tastes good, He's like, that's fucked up, So, that's 2/3 of Jake mindset. They don't want to be obedient to the Lord. They want to, You know, they want to believe and be, call themselves believers, but don't want to be completely subservient. And it's a judgment for that. This is rebellion is as a sin of witchcraft. And what happens to a witch? They're put to death. But not to digress, it says Boosie Badass says this is the brokest he's ever seen in America. It says, aside from his music, Boosie Badass is known for sharing his opinion on anything and everything. According to Boosie, the country is hurting, which is true. You got a lot of people fucked up out here, you know what I mean? And it's going to eventually start hitting the wealthy if it's not already hitting them. They bringing out all these distractions, but you got to remember, Boosie Badass might have a certain amount of notoriety and fame and possessions and riches in this land, but I watched them have to sell certain shit and all that, because if your money is generated from your fans that pay their money to come see you, and if the country's hurting, then how the fuck you gonna be hurting too? That's how deadly and cold the Lord has this whole system, this world intertwined, and that's why you have to be, the scriptures talk about being in this world but not others' world. It says this isn't only limited to the world of hip hop either, as he also frequently weighs in on current events, politics, and more. Earlier today, for example, he decided to share his take on the current state of the U.S. economy. According to him, it's not looking good. In fact, he says that this is the brokest he's ever seen in the country, which, is not. It's funny he coming out with this because, I remember the elder Uriah, the elder Uriah in Chicago did a video recently. He was going into how the banks talking about pretty much the economy failing. That's why the price of gold and silver is on the rise. That's why Costco is selling bars of gold. You know what I mean? Like, these people is gonna hit a lot of these niggas unawares. These niggas look up and shit. They not gonna warn you. They warning you now. The warning is, the brothers on the highways and hedges week in and week out, prophesying. Because what did Yahweh Shah, who you people ignorantly Jesus, what did Yahweh Shah, who you people ignorantly call Jesus Christ, say? He said, a wicked and adulterous generation seeking for a sign, but the only sign that they will receive is the sign of the prophet Jonah. So this is your sign, which is deep. Us out here proclaiming the downfall of this kingdom, bringing out, the prophecies, and, talk about the kingdom of heaven to be pretty much here on earth. It says, earlier today, for example, he decided to share his take on the current state of the U.S. economy. According to him, it's not looking good. In fact, he says that this is the brokest he's ever seen in the country. So lucky. Says Boosie started off on Twitter X explaining how nowadays a lot of people are barely scraping by. Described how after paying their bills, most are left with little money to spend on anything else. And I just heard that earlier today somewhere. You know what I mean? And that's the beautiful thing about it. Brothers going through these same situations. You got certain brothers a lot more well off. You got some brothers that's barely getting by, but none of us is just out here destitute, because the simple fact is it's a brotherhood, and that's the beautiful thing about this truth. You might not always see eye to eye, or may not even completely understand everything, but we all agree upon the message. That's what's 100%. That's what is that's what is flawless. This doctrine, this message. About how the white man is the devil, this man is a liar and a deceiver, and he's destroying the earth, and how he basically, he turned, the things of the Most High upside down, and how he's being exposed and coming out of power, and how the Lord is going to put his children, you so-called blacks, Hispanics, Native Americans, Seminole Indians, West Indians, Asians, back in power. We were taken out of power because of our disobedience, but after suffering, this judgment, this punishment, we're being lifted back up by just this actual knowledge, and I was listening to the brother Amawanga Bar do a video. I think it was last night, but I was listening to it today, and he was saying how pretty much scriptures talk about the devil coming out with great wrath. Because you can see it's about to unfold. This devil got a lot of shit going on. You know what I mean? And if the spirit of the Lord on you, you're going to keep up with a lot, that the average person can't, Like I was saying that about our group chat, but at the same time, call the law, like Yahweh Shema Shah 41444. I mean, select it 414144. But anyhow, with that all being said, you know, yeah, you know, we about to come into some hard times, you know what I mean? And you ain't saying nothing yet. It's a spirit that brother from ancient of days. I don't know the brother's name, but his page is gonna get this work. He was going into pretty much being a man. You can't be a boy because at the end of the day, basically being a warrior, a soldier. Scriptures talk about that in 2 Timothy chapter 2. Good soldier for Yahweh Shai. He's not gonna put his cares in this world because we see this world as defiled, and that's why Yahweh Shai is coming to bring judgment to this world, to usher in the new world. It says, yeah, and that's the spirit I was listening to because I'm at work and I finally figured out a way I can listen to the elders because I was struggling trying to do this shit without being able to listen to scriptures and the elders and brothers and whatnot. But I was able to listen to it today, and I was listening to the live camp last week, and they was going into the elders going into the. Well, that might not have been last week. No, that was last week. The elders going into the beheading, and basically martyrs for Yahweh Shai. And what do you got to look forward to in this world? You got people trying to hold on to this world. Pretty much, I mean, like you said, you paying bills to be broke. You know what I mean? While they poisoning everything you taking in your system, all to fuel their medical fields and medical industry. You know what I mean? This place is a very wicked ass place. I was breaking down next to the brothers because I was looking at the whole Demahanin Ryan Garcia thing, and it's more to all that shit. But when this individual was talking about the Illuminati was after him, I had to put A and B together. Like, well, damn, that's funny because Haney, they were still trying to tell you Haney was winning or basically tied, even though he got knocked down 3 times within the fight. How hard it is to come back from some shit like that. I mean, you got to either knock that individual out. You know what I mean? So what I mean. It made a lot of sense. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, you got to remember, these people are in a club that it tells you in the book of Job chapter 9 verse 24, the earth is given to the hand of the wicked. So it's a club that Jake has joined on to, that pretty much where they get, the pleasures of this world, and advantages in this world. That's why the scriptures say, again, love not the world or the things that are in the world, because this world is wicked. It says he described that for paying their bills, most are left with little money to spend on anything else. The Louisiana-born MC also noted how several companies are laying off employees and filing for bankruptcy. And you got everyday individuals that don't even pay attention to this. You got niggas that's in the world that, like not seeing this, but you got this rapper that's supposed to have all this wealth and money that see this. And like I said again, this got to be scary to be him because, he can see this, but he can't see an Israelite. But I think somebody has, it's not, the scriptures talk about, Yahushua said, if I had not come, it would be a cloak for their sins. But being that I have come, there's no cloak. I'm pretty sure like a lot of individuals, these entertainers know about, the truth. That's why you had the whole movement about, brother did a video about all these entertainers talking about that they know that they Israelites. So ain't no way you can say you didn't. He says, it's crazy how every company is going broke and filing for bankruptcy. This world has no money, and that's the spirit. Let me bring this one out real quick. Yeah, I might have to do a part 2. This is the book of Genesis chapter 47, and I'm going to start at verse 13, and it reads, and there was no bread in the land, for the famine was very sore to the land of Egypt, and all the land of Canaan fainted by reason of the famine. And Joseph gathered up all the money that was found in the land of Egypt and in the land of Canaan for the corn which they bought. And Joseph brought the money into Pharaoh's house. Verse 15, and when money failed in the land of Egypt and in the land of Canaan, all the Egyptians came unto Joseph and said, give us bread, for why should we die in thy presence, for the money faileth. And you got to understand, that was ancient Egypt, and America is likened on to, Egypt today. You got Sodom and Egypt mentioned in what's that, Revelations 11, if I'm not mistaken. But America's likened on to Sodom and Egypt. was what? Sodomy, and then, Egypt, because Egypt was a place of bondage to our people. And, the money failed then, and the money's going to fail here. And you got to understand that the devil, he goes and searches things out. So he's using this playbook because food can be utilized as a weapon. So if you want to create a system where everybody has to be on this grid and bow down to it, how would you, like, pretty much, like, what will be the control factor of that? Control the money. So, it's just funny he made that statement about the money failing, and that's in the scriptures. But I got to make a part two because my break about to end. So Salakia, Shalom, Yahamar.